It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Captain Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have some fun, cause I'm a big hunk of crime-fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Hubba, 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 hubba. Heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
To the mayor's office. And now, behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last!
KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Well,
I'm not Alan Autry.
Where's Alan Autry?
I know. I miss Alan. Have you you heard that voice? It's also not Alan.
Where did he go?
I don't. Is he back from the bathroom yet? Oh man. Well, we're still waiting for Alan. He's in the restroom. He said, "Guys, if I'm not back yet, don't." He's like, maybe he'll be here for the second segment. Who knows?
May be here a while.
May be here a while waiting for Alan, Guillermo Moreno, and Bob the Bullet Leone. That's such a cool name.
Hey, what's that?
Your last name?
You like that?
Oh, Bob Leone. I don't have a cool name. Guillermo Moreno. People can't even. It's Free for All Friday. I'm going to tell you a law school story before we get into the law. The alpha. I heard someone the other day call it the affidavit.
Okay.
The affidavit. No, we're going to get into the affidavit in just a little bit. But in law school, I had I don't even know if this is radio appropriate. Probably not. So, and the kids are in school. They should be in school. They should be learning. So I'll say it right now. We had this law professor for admin law, administrative law. Professor Stashevsky.
That's a thrill an hour.
Admin law. Trust me, it was. The guy was boring too. I mean, Professor anyhow, I said it the first time. So in law school, they do it by the Socratic method, right? So there's like 180 of you, and Mr. Leone, can you give me the facts of the case, Mr. Leone? Anyhow, so he had never, it was like the first week, and luck would have it, I'd be the first, like one of the first people to be called, and he looked at the list and. Back then my middle name was Magana.
Okay.
So it's Magana. All right. So this is in Michigan. No many Maganias there. And it goes, Mr. Magina? And I was like,
you can't stop that one.
Yeah, right here, the entire 179 students. Let's just not tell you. Let's just not tell you what I was referred to the last 2 years of law school. Anyhow, Bob the Bullet Leone.
Hey, by the way, I had told Alan last week that I intended to keep all of our faithful and loyal listeners apprised of the happenings of our Riverdale High Cowboys, of which he and I are proud alumni.
I know people just listen just for the update.
They're sitting on They're sitting on the edge of their seat right now, and they won their first game last week. This week they're playing the always powerful Orange Cove Titans. Orange Cove Titans in their second game of the year. So let's root on the Cowboys, and on Tuesday we'll have an update as to how they did on this today.
So right now the Riverdale, what are they? River Cats? Cowboys. I'm sorry. I apologize. The Riverdale Cowboys.
You're not going to win many people from Riverdale with that. All 2,000 of them in town.
I was going to say, make sure I never run for a office that includes Riverdale. I'll lose all 2 votes.
You'll never get.
We actually, listen, funny story. We actually know a guy from Riverdale that almost, Johnny Teixeira.
Yeah.
He almost won.
Yeah.
He almost beat Jim Costa. Almost beat Jim Costa. Well, I don't think my Spartans are playing, but I always love hearing my old fight song. Victory for MSU. Victory for MSU. Victory for MSU. That's all I remember.
You should.
That's all I remember. I don't remember anything else in the song.
Stay in radio because singing would not be your career.
No. When we sing in church, I can't read music.
What's that have to do with being able to carry a tune?
Well, I mean, you got to be able to read the note and read the words at the same time.
Just listen to it and then.
Yeah, I'm horrible.
Pick it up that way.
I'm horrible. Bob the Bullet Leone in studio. Before we get into I always like to procrastinate when there's other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk about the stuff that we should be talking. I like to procrastinate.
The heavy duty stuff.
The heavy duty stuff. So before we get, you said you do some on this day research, right?
Yeah.
On this day.
On this day. What did I do with that?
Oh, I guess you're not ready for it.
On this day in sports in 2016, a significant event occurred. That was the first time that
Olympics. It has to be something with the Olympics.
No. Good guess.
I know.
Colin Kaepernick kneeled in protest during the national
Has it been that long?
Before a game against San Diego at Qualcomm Stadium. Yeah. August 26th of 2016.
Has it been that long?
6 years ago.
Man, poor guy's been unemployed for that long.
Yeah, well, he's done okay.
Yeah, he's done okay.
He's got a long-term deal with Nike, or at least he did. I don't know if he still does.
If someone came to you and said, Bob the Bullet Leone, I just need you to do something unpatriotic, and you're going to get a couple of million for the rest of your life.
Don't put me in that.
Would you do it? Something unpatriotic.
I probably couldn't do that.
Unpatriotic. I mean, 30 million guaranteed.
I had
a year. That make you think, huh?
Yeah,
it really make you think.
Just at first blush, I don't think I could do that. My dad was in the service. My uncle was in the service in World War II, and
you just couldn't do it. Yeah,
he didn't make. He's one of the folks that didn't make it back. So, and I'm named after him. I don't want to bring it down, but I just don't know that I could do something like that for the money. And I quit working because I didn't want to make that money anymore.
Yeah,
not that I didn't want to, just that it didn't mean that much to me anymore.
It's not always about money.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're talking big money. If you're talking millions of dollars, of course that makes one think. But I don't know that I could do that. That would be tough to.
I would
know how I'd live with myself. For number one.
No, I agree.
How do you do that?
I wouldn't be pro-China for less than $1 million a year. I mean, if they told me, Guillermo, if Xi Jinping were to reach out to me himself and say, Guillermo, I'm going to buy up all I'm going to buy all your extra ad time for $1 million a year, I would say, Xi got a deal. Let's do this. Like I would be the biggest pro-China guy you have ever heard. I mean, I would over here be saying how Eric Swalwell is like the best congressman ever. I would be made in China. I'd be wearing made in China hats for $1 million. You're telling me you turned down $1 million to be pro-China? I would not turn down $1 million a year. A year.
You would.
Anything less, I wouldn't do it. $1 million is my well, no, after taxes, I guess. No, 1.25 million, I'd do it. And if you listen, everyone listening and watching everyone's got that's a famous movie line. Everyone's got a number, right? Like everyone's got. Can anybody be bought? I think everyone's got a number.
Yeah, probably.
I think everyone's got a number. Yeah. My science teacher, his wife was a florist, so he always took off Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, and he was always like pontificating on life. And teachers, they have nothing else to do.
Hey, one other birthday today.
Oh, who?
Getting away from Kaepernick. Albert Sabin. Does that ring a bell?
Is it Nick Saban's brother?
No. Good try.
Yeah,
but no. This guy was a lot more important than that.
The Nick Saban?
Yes. Albert Sabin.
Sabin. Sabin, okay. Like Nick Saban.
My bottom teeth didn't work.
Gotcha.
Born on this day in 1906, developed the oral polio vaccine.
Oh. Yeah. Big, important guy.
Very, very important guy. 1906. He passed away in 96, I think. But,
definitely more important than Nick Saban.
Yeah, definitely more. Than Nick's or Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, or Colin Kaepernick. There you go. No, my science teacher used to say, it ain't always about money, but man, it sure makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. All right. Well, we don't have money or Colin Kaepernick, thank God. So let's.
Don't you have something important in your hand?
I know I've been procrastinating long enough. I have the affidavit right here in my hand that allowed the FBI to go in and invade Mar-a-Lago. Now, this is my favorite page. Let me read to you. I mean, this is earth-shattering. Let me read to you from page 21, paragraph 57.
Page 21.
Page 21, line 57.
What does that say?
Nothing, because it has been redacted. Let me go down to 58. Nothing, because it's been redacted. Let me go to 55. Nothing, because it's been redacted.
Show the folks what that looks like.
I mean, this is why even print it out? Like, you know how much ink they're wasting today across America? Like,
that's what Guillermo spent 10 minutes doing this morning.
Yeah, this is the best show prep.
Printing that up.
Best show prep. I don't even know why I printed it. I mean, this is great show prep right here.
Now, have you had a chance to go through?
Yeah, I did, because most of it's redacted. So this is a book that I did finish. I actually did finish this.
First one you finished in law school.
First one. They should redact more in life. That's like a pass.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you just pass.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Guillermo. In your perusal and reading of that document,
I now hate Trump.
Did you?
Can't stand the guy now. Okay. Like, I'm burning all my hats.
Was there anything of meaning that you found in there? Was there anything important that you were able to see or read? I mean, what are we looking at here? Just a bunch of legal gobbledygook, and then all the good stuff is redacted?
Yeah, so let me tell you a couple things. We knew this was going to happen. We knew that the affidavit was going to be heavily redacted. We know that they were going to pretend that their sources, that they can't release this information because it is detrimental to the witnesses and the judicial process. So they're going to cloak this thing in, hey, we got to redact this thing heavily because we've got to protect the people. And in reading this, it does have a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. But what really stood out to me was the insignificance of why you went in there. And let me just read to you. I think it's probably the second most important line to me here. This all began, and we now know this, but it's just different reading it because this is what the was a magistrate.
That's what he signed off on, right?
Yeah. This is what he signed off on, and it says here, first page, the investigation began as a result of a referral from the United States National Archives and Records Administration. It's purely about documents. That's all this is. Purely, it's just so insignificant. Like, there's just stuff in life. If you had someone follow you around to look at all the bad stuff you did, and that day you were extremely perfect, except you sped a little bit, like maybe 1 or 2 miles over, or you said a couple cuss words. This would be that. Like, oh, you cussed at 12:05 a.m. We want the audio. What did you say? But it really is insignificant.
Really?
I thought it was, and they do go on saying, so that was for me the second most important line. Here's the most important line. And I know people are going to disagree with me because they're saying, well, CNN's going to disagree with me because apparently he didn't store these things properly.
Unauthorized location.
Yeah, unauthorized location. The guy, he was in the middle of building a safe. Like, where else do you want? Do you want armed guards by this safe? So this is what really got me. It was section 4, or paragraph 4, not section 4. I apologize. I'm a special agent with the FBI assigned to the Washington field office. Redaction, period. During this time, I have received training at the FBI Academy located in Quantico, Virginia, specific to counterintelligence and espionage investigations. Redaction. Based on my experience and training, I am familiar with efforts used to unlawfully collect, retain, and disseminate sensitive government information, including classified NDI. So this agent is claiming like, hey, listen, man, I'm an FBI agent. I've been trained, all right, in Quantico. Come on, you seen the show? That means I know my stuff, all right? I've seen a thing or two. And I know when people are stealing stuff, and I know when they want to sell it to the Chinese, the Russians, and everybody else. All right, you got to trust me. Mm-hmm. It's besides just being very flimsy, you're starting to see the swampiness of the people of this bureaucracy of the FBI, because you're one guy who probably is, and I don't know who this guy is, obviously, because it's redacted. This one guy, probably and we know it's not just him, that they had to come up with something. And this just tells me, and I can't believe it, Bob, I can't believe how squeaky clean, and the left, they're about to explode, how squeaky clean Donald Trump is. Because if the best thing you got is a referral from the National Archives and Records Administration, like, you have nothing else on the guy.
Well,
nothing else.
Let me back up a little bit because just for clarification.
Sure.
In order to issue that affidavit, in order for a judge to sign off on that affidavit to approve the search, there has to be, and I can't remember the specific term, there has to be a suspicion of
probable cause,
yeah, illegal activities or whatever that they may find in that specific location.
Oh yeah,
Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I got that right here. Based on the following facts, there is probable cause to believe that the locations to be searched at the premise contain evidence, contraband, fruits of a crime, or other items illegally in possession of the violation, and then gives a statute number.
So if there are, and there were documents indicated as classified, and
yes,
because they're the different classes of the documents there. What's classified and personal and
then there's like top secret classification.
Yeah, what one of the other ones. And apparently there were some of those at Mar-a-Lago that were taken in this most recent raid.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with that, other than if who classifies? Is this a national records or who classifies?
I don't think it's a national record. No,
as classified and personal and non-classified. Who does that?
I'm not sure who does it, but it had all those there. I don't know who does it.
Because the reason one of the reasons they went in was because the boxes of information documents that they had received earlier this year.
15 boxes.
15 boxes.
They received 15 boxes.
Yeah. And apparently that struck some kind of a nerve that said, well, wait a minute. There are other documents, and maybe we need to get a hold of those because it could be something sensitive in there. And I guess that was also part of the reasoning for doing doing the raid. I guess the bottom line, and you know that I'm no fan of Donald Trump.
Why not?
I'm really not.
Does this make you not a fan of him even more? Or
no. I guess the only thing I want to let's just put justice evenly across the board.
I like doing that. Yeah.
Whatever happens, but if there's something there, find it, and if it's a serious offense, then do what you have to do. If there's nothing there, then
I agree.
I mean,
Bob, you're given the sentiment of I think the average American. If you were to get 10 people in a room randomly,
because I'm highly average. I hope you know that.
No. Well, you know what I mean. If you were to get them all in a room, and irrespective of their political beliefs, and you're like, hey, the guy had a couple of documents.
Yeah.
That mean nothing. We have no idea what's going on with them. And then you tell them, hey, listen, this guy literally sold nuclear codes to China.
Right.
They're like, I don't like that part.
Yeah.
But it's so flimsy. It's almost laughable. If this man did something where, he was selling the nuke codes, which don't they change? Like once he's, I doubt that it's like your password word that you use for everything. Like my password pin is the same for like the 30 things.
Yeah, don't do that.
I highly doubt Donald Trump. He was the 45th president. His passcode is 45. You type in 45. And
45 is a very good password.
45, great password.
Very good.
Yeah, great. So it's not that. These things change, right? It's not something that it seems so insignificant that this is the best they have. And I have to remind liberals, listen, you guys spent millions of dollars. This man has been under investigation since 2016. You can't find, there's not one compromising photo of him. You don't have his hand in the cookie jar at all. All that money. And you don't have anything. Like, that's a waste. That's a huge investment loss.
Yeah, I'm with you. If the guy's guilty, do what you have to do. But after all the investigations and the impeachments, if the guy's that bad, why isn't he in prison?
Like, I want one thing. Like, what's one bad thing?
Why isn't he in prison? If all of this stuff supposedly happened.
Yeah, what's perception? And the Democrats think this here is going to put him in there. He should. You don't store documents without a master lock that you can get at the 99-cent store. You deserve to be in prison. Like, that's not accurate storage. All right, this is not. I doubt, and this all goes.
Well, there was nothing in his safe though.
Yeah,
it was empty.
I guess all the documents were this. And here's the other thing: anybody believe that Donald Trump actually was storing his own documents? Someone at that level of. The former president of the United States. You have billions of it. You're not filing away your own stuff. Am I right?
I don't know.
You don't have you have secretaries to do that. Like, you're not over there printing out and writing on you're signing documents. You're meeting with people. People act like this man is like Dr. Evil. He's so depressed at night. He's going through his old White House documents and looking at these nuclear codes and being like, man, I bet you these are still the same codes that I got to
put it that way.
Come on, Bob.
I'm sure that somebody, I don't know what the protocol is for that. When he leaves office and he has all of these documents, someone has to review these documents and assign a classification to those documents. I don't know how that happened. And then how does he, is he allowed to take certain well, obviously he's allowed to take certain documents with him.
That whole process is just bad when you think about it. And it's not for Trump. The Clintons took stuff. Obama's took stuff. Trump's took. Why don't we just get smart about this and say, hey, listen, instead of calling the U-Haul or meathead movers, or there's like a new one called hunk movers. Yeah, you see it? It's like hunk movers. It's a new thing. Which
we actually used meathead movers.
They're great, by the way. They're fantastic.
They did a great job.
Yeah. I shouldn't say this, but every time they moved me, they got injured.
Ooh.
Yeah. They did. Yeah.
We were putting bricks in your drawers or something.
No, I wasn't. That's a good. But no, I lived in a loft on the 11th floor.
Oh my word!
And there was this big headboard. It must weigh about 300 pounds, and it's about.
You had no elevator; it couldn't fit.
Well, it was 11 feet wide, and I mean, this thing is like Queen Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth headboard. Anyhow, so
11 floors.
Yeah, so it doesn't fit in the elevator, so they had to go down 11 flights under in a 1930s building that was built in downtown Fresno. 11 flights.
So the stairwell's like
yeah. One guy busted his bicep.
Oh my!
Yeah, I felt bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
tore his bicep.
And I felt bad. Like, man, I hope I didn't just take out like Fresno State's star running back. I mean, because they're all college students, right? It's like, hey, that's a good way to tank a football team. If they're a meathead movers, make them move something really heavy.
Hurt their back.
Yeah, hurt their back and like they can't play anymore. Yeah, I'm just telling you, just giving away our secret. Hey, Fresno State football, none of the guys are allowed to.
I'll tell you, it will be real interesting to see what happens now after the FBI has a chance to go through these documents or whatever they're going to do and see what comes out of this whole thing. It's going to be real interesting.
Well, my last point on this was I guess they had some that had Donald Trump's personal handwritten, like he was writing notes.
I saw that in the article I was reading, and I thought, well, his personal stuff, I guess.
If he handwrote a note, let's just say worst, like what could be the worst note that that would be like, oh, I'm turning on this guy. I mean, maybe he wrote down like,
Dear Mr. Putin.
Yeah. Xi Jinping, I agree with you. Like, what could be what?
Dear Vladimir.
Yeah, or yes, I wanted them to storm the Capitol. Like, what could be? Anyhow, let's just say they are nuke codes. Who killed Kennedy? Maybe he wrote that on there. I don't know. It's a Friday.
For all Friday.
Yeah, and we're all kooky. Let's go to Laura Fisher because
Laura's got some information.
Laura is going to tell us on how these documents get classified.
Oh, outstanding.
Laura, who I've missed, weekend producer, you got to remind me. You got to remind me about the Laura Fisher report. Yeah,
Laura
that's on you.
Has her finger on the pulse.
Laura, first of all, welcome, and I expect the unredacted affidavit to be sent to me by you very soon.
Honey, I'm working on it, okay?
All right. As long as you're working, as long as I can see what they didn't want me to see, I'm good.
I'm working on it. I also filed FOIAs for the documents that are supposedly classified.
I love it.
So I'm waiting to hear back.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, classification authority is given to the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, and agency heads, including the CIA. When it involves top secret or special access documents, there are special precautions that have to be taken, especially when you're dealing with nuclear, anything like that, anything that is extremely sensitive. Oftentimes, it will be a combination of agency heads with either the vice president or president also signing off on that classification because it's very limited who can have access to special access documents. For declassification, now, bear in mind, every document that is classified, once it is classified and it's categorized by which level of classification it has, it is then documented. It's given a numeric identifier, and it's cataloged and it's identified, and that is sent immediately to the National Archives because the National Archives keeps a standing record. They're basically just librarians is what they are. And they keep a record of all of that for every president.
Let me ask you this, Laura, because you're also you're no fan of Donald Trump. So let me ask you this. Did he create this by himself? Like, hey, why didn't he just declassify the documents all in mass and say, look, this whole box over here, declassified. You figure it out. You tell the National Archives to do it, and then we can take them legitly. Or it just sometimes it does surprise me that there's no buffer. Like, he didn't put a buffer between himself like Obama did. He's like, I'm not handling that. That's someone in the Obama library, fund is going to handle that. Are you surprised that he didn't? Let me ask you this. Let's just say he did that. Can the incoming president then, if he declassified them, can the incoming president classify them again? So is it more of a bait and switch? Like, I gotcha. You declassified them, but now where they are classified. It just seems like a game.
No, but Donald Trump can't pull a Michael Scott and run out in the middle of the office and scream, I declare bankruptcy. He has to just yell at Oval Office, declassified. That's not how it works. They actually have to catalog that. There has to be a written record of every single document that every individual who has the capability to declassify documents, that it's there so that they know what they're allowed to give out under the Freedom of Information Act and what they are not, and who has authorization. Because Donald Trump could have taken a special access document and taken it down to just a classified document, granting people who have a lower security clearance access to that document. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
see. But it has to be written, and there is no record of him doing that.
Do they scan?
And that has to be done before any of those documents, special access and top secret, should have never been taken under any circumstances. He had absolutely no reason to take those. Do I think that this is an espionage situation? No. I think this is a giant man baby who has a very small member who thinks that he's going to look like a big man showing nuclear secrets at his parties at Mar-a-Lago. That's what I think it is.
No, so that goes to another issue. So you think he knew what he was taking? You don't think some aide was like, all right, let me just get off. Hey, the boss wants me to take as much as I can. I'm just going to take it. You think Donald Trump literally said, hey, you take everything?
The fact that there was nuclear information involved, he was so obsessed with nuclear weapons and being able to maybe use one, to blow up a hurricane. Okay, I'm still not over that. But my 8-year-old knows you can't do that, but that's okay. He was so obsessed with him. That's why I said he's a perpetual 7-year-old. I mean, honestly, go back to when you were 7, Guillermo, and if you could get your hands on some really cool, coveted stuff that you could show off to your friends in 2nd grade, tell me you wouldn't do it.
Oh, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Well, my grandson's 8, and he loves taking his gujitsu. Well, he can't take him to school, but those are his prized possessions right now, and he thinks that
the what is the
gujitsus, the stretchy.
I have no idea what that is.
Toys. So, Laura's right on when she says that, because he's obsessed with those things.
I don't know. I got to disagree with you, because I don't think he knew what was going into all the boxes. I mean, that's a lot of Here's the other thing. Do they have is this not in the cloud? Is the White House still working on typewriters? None of this stuff is scanned? Like, it's not in a Dropbox somewhere?
No, the way that it works, it depends on the classification of the documents. Like some of the stuff that they were talking about in Hillary Clinton's emails. There are certain documents like special access and top secret that are never, under any circumstances, unless it is an absolute life or death emergency, are not transmitted electronically.
Nice. Well,
they are all generated from encrypted computers. They are printed out on paper, and they are taken by armed people to the people who need them outside of where they normally would go, into one of those little special rooms where they have to give up their phone and all that stuff to go in and documents. They take you have to understand, Guillermo, if China or Russia were to get their hands on any of that, not that I'm saying that Donald Trump was intent on selling any of that. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, stop and step back. I understand where you're coming from and people wanting to throw politics in this. But ask yourself this question. Replace Trump with Obama. How would you feel?
Bob, next question. I agree. You call my bluff.
You have to step away from your personal opinion about Donald Trump, and you have to just ask yourself, if this was a president, doesn't matter who the president is.
If these documents,
and you find out that president has special access documents that is a direct threat to the national security of your country, are you not going to be a little concerned, regardless of what his intent?
I would. My question is, though, how imminent is this concern? Because if it was something that happened, 2 years ago, and it's pretty much, if this information is pretty much rendered useless, I'd be like, it is what it is.
Okay.
But if
Let me counter that argument, because I've heard that too. This is a very special and sensitive circumstance because we're talking about a former sitting president. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care who it is. This is a former sitting president. This is an individual, as much as you want to say, oh, he's a private citizen now. No, he's not. He is a former sitting president. He had the highest security level in this country, period. And it is important. It does matter. And the reason why it took so long, they were trying to avoid this, Guillermo. They did not, I don't believe in my heart of hearts that any worker bee at DOJ or FBI wanted to go into a raid at the home of a former sitting president.
I agree.
The National Archives has tried to work behind the scenes. They issued multiple subpoenas, and he refused to give up these documents.
Well, here's the other thing.
Why?
Here's the other thing. Let me tell you why. And I said this very early on, Bob and Laura. He might be 2 steps ahead of these people because maybe he wanted them to go in there and get him and cause this much of a fuss because, you had DeSantis right on his heels. Right. I mean, everyone's, has this DeSantis fever on the right. So maybe he knew like, hey, I need something to be relevant again. So I'm going to hold on him legally because he can. You come and get him.
You know what, honey? I love the fact that you see the glass is half full, but he ain't that smart.
I think he is.
News that can't even defend him. He can't even get any adequate counsel to represent him anymore because he shoots himself in the foot every single time he opens up his mouth.
Just because Rudy, just because Rudy had the whole hair dye issue,
I don't know.
That's tough. That's tough to come back.
Rudy needs to start worrying about his own behind and quit worrying about Donald. He needs to handle his own business. Can't feed up folks if you can't feed yourself, baby.
All right. Laura Fisher, we love Laura Fisher. All right, let's go out to Laura. Thank you so much. Let's go out to Sue in the great state of Texas. Sue, I know she's been waiting a long time. She's still there? Sue.
I'm still here.
All right. Who's playing this weekend in Texas? Besides every college.
Who's playing what?
College football.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't tell you. I don't follow football.
All right, that's okay. No, we did a football segment earlier, and I like college football, but nonetheless. All right, you're Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney. What do you got on Liz Cheney?
Well, I'm just saying that everybody's saying how she's out to get Trump. She despises him. She hates him. She'll do anything she can to get him. Well, I agree with that on the January 6th. But she has had nothing to do with what's going on with his taxes in New York.
True.
And that wasn't her. That was him. He's got his butt in a sling 3 ways. And it's all him. Now, I agree she can't stand him, and I can't either. I'll tell you, I never have. And the fact that night, when they said he won, I had tears in my eyes.
Man, this must be like the hate Trump hour, huh?
He's got this thing with the top secret documents that he has. Liz Cheney had nothing to do with that. So he can't dig himself out.
Well, here's the other thing, Sue, and I totally get what you're saying. You're saying, hey, man, this man's put himself in these positions. Here's what I want you to kind of reflect on. It's been, 5 years, 6 years since Donald Trump hit the world stage, and they still can't find anything concrete against this man. If you had that much money, that much power, that much authority to go after a person, and it's just not producing anything, could it be that this man is that squeaky clean. Now, would you be okay with, Sue, doing the exact same thing to every former president of what they're doing to him?
No, because they haven't asked for it. The thing I think about Donald Trump is they're going to make sure that their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed before they go after him. I mean, the man is an imbecile, in my opinion.
But listen, but Sue, but why not? But why not?
Said that when before he pleaded the Fifth in New York that morning, he sat there. They showed 3 clips of him saying, "Oh man, you plead the Fifth. You're guilty. You're like the mob, man. You're trying to hide something real bad." He said it 3 times. The man doesn't even know the definition of pleading the Fifth Amendment. He sat there at the very beginning of the COVID, saying he could tell the governors what to do because he was president. He doesn't realize that the White House is our house. He thinks that White House belongs to him and everything in it.
So,
and he doesn't understand. The man is so egotistical. Well, all right, let me ask you this. You probably hadn't, but Bob probably has.
Bob, we got
a colonoscopy.
Oh,
yeah, I haven't. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Did you say that because I'm
the
old?
Man, the man is so afraid of losing power that in 2019 he had a colonoscopy wide awake because he would not transfer power to Pence.
Oh yeah, that's a man to me right there, Sue. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm not going to go under.
Oh,
come on, like you ain't I'm not going. I don't even trust Pence now. Maybe he knew that back then. Like, I'm not going to hand over the country to this guy for how long are you up for colonoscopy? Like 2 hours?
No. It's a very
well.
Sue,
I'm just saying.
Procedure.
I'm going to get an answer, Sue. I have a family member that is specialized in GI. I'm going to ask why a certain individual, why people don't go under. And I promise you this is a promise I'm going to make to Sue. I'm not going to go under when I get my first colonoscopy, Sue.
Good luck.
And I'm going to tell you all about it.
When he had his COVID.
It's a camera.
The doctor said after he lost the election, the doctor came on TV and said they wanted to put him to sleep, but he wouldn't transfer power.
Well, what if the doctors are evil? And you're like, this doctor's going to kill me. Like, I don't want to go under. Sue, I appreciate the phone call. We got so much to cover. Sue, that's my promise to you. I'm going to tell you why GI speaking, gastroenterology, I think that's how you say it, why people don't go under. And I'm going to tell you, when I get my first colonoscopy, Sue, I'm going to come back to the radio. I'm going to tell you, I did it without anesthesia. It's a small camera. It's like a hair, right? It's like a hair. Or is it like literally like a cord?
I don't know. I was
don't
out.
know.
I was out.
I'm just saying, I think the man's getting everything he deserves, and I hope they can hang this on me.
All right. I don't think it's going to happen, Sue, but we appreciate your phone call. All right. Well, we've thoroughly, I think we've thoroughly beat this thing to death.
Well, I'm glad we got some clarification from Laura, though,
I really,
how those documents are classified. As I say, if he did something nefarious and there were documents in there that he should not have had in his possession at
but we'll never know.
Mar-a-Lago.
We'll never know because they're never going to release the actual. You're going to believe what hey, this guy had nuke codes. Okay, but it goes back to the. I totally get it. I get where Laura's coming from. I think Trump is smarter than we think. And I think this was intentional.
Well, that's a different spin. I haven't heard that one.
I think it's intentional. He's starting to. He's a master marketer, right? He knows how to market himself, and he knows how to get himself into top of the news. He knew they wanted this stuff. He probably kept it and said, "Hey, DeSantis is on my heels. I'm starting to kind of fade away. this will really bring me to the forefront. And what happened was his ratings did go up. So conservatives rallied behind him and said, "Hey, this is a bunch of we can't have this." So I think he's.
You think he was really that?
Oh heck yeah!
That conniving to do that.
He left it out. It wasn't even safe. Yeah. It's almost like, hey, look, here are the new codes right here. Come and get them. Spend all the time you want.
That never crossed my mind.
But the thing is, genius, right?
Well, I guess if you look at
if he doesn't get arrested in prison, it's genius.
Yeah,
I think
if he goes to prison, it's probably not a real smart move.
He ain't gonna go to prison. I don't think there's any sitting president, as much as we want, or former first lady that we would want. It ain't gonna happen. In this country, I think at some point in time, the people in D.C. are like, all right, stop the BS. Like, it ain't going to happen. I think on either side. I would never want to see, as much as I want to see Hillary Clinton, behind bars, I don't think it's never going to happen. And I want to tell conservatives, like, just get over it. It's not going to happen. The Bidens are never going to see justice. No one is ever going to see justice that is served in the White House. I don't see it. And maybe I'm wrong. Okay. You think?
Well, I've never really thought about it that deeply.
Yeah.
But you could be right. I just don't. I never really thought about the fact that this was an intent, that he intended to not turn over the documents upon request, and waited for a raid on his home. I never thought that would be a strategy that he would employ.
Well, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
It's just all.
Yeah, it never entered my mind. So
he's the roadrunner. He's the roadrunner, and they're the coyote. And he's just. I'm serious. He's outrunning. It's smart. Think about it. Politically speaking,
he got his name back in the forefront of the news.
Right, everyone's talking about it because he knew they would do it sloppily. Right. I mean, this is sloppy. He maybe it was intentional, and then this was just sloppy. He knew they'd take the bait. I don't know. I think. He might not be smart, but I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of smart people around him, irrespective of what people think. Yeah. All right. Let's go to Chris. I haven't heard from Chris. If this is Christina, the same Christina, I haven't heard from Christina in a while. Christina, it is good to hear you. Assuming I can hear you. Assuming she's patched through.
Hi,
It is.
Hello. I could not resist countering some of this Hate Trump Friday.
Right.
Guillermo.
Thank you. I got an ally here. Go ahead, Christina.
There's nothing authentic about the behavior of the DOJ. So you got to get that straight. If they really wanted to clamp down on corruption, then Hillary would be in jail, Obama would be in jail, and Laura also doesn't like Ron DeSantis. I got news for her. Her dream person, Elon Musk, will never be president because he wasn't born here. So she needs to just chill. and let the process play out.
Man, we got a coast-to-coast rivalry going here.
Hey, here we go.
Christina, I appreciate you calling in and countering the Trump hate. You're absolutely right, because it's one thing in the DOJ, when Merrick Garland came out and said, we're doing this in the interest of justice and fairness, and it's like, hey, come on, that's BS. Christina's absolutely
I'm not a big fan of Garland either.
Yeah, but she's right. They're pretending that, they're, oh my goodness, there's some overseer of justice, and they're the ones that are. That's not true. Yeah. Right, Christina?
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Christina from Fresno. Good to hear you, Christina.
That was a local
back
call.
At you.
Yeah, back at you. Yeah, she was, if I'm not mistaken, she might have been our first call when we flipped a station from the old moniker The Answer and took it over and named it Talk Radio. Really? Yeah. We love Christina. She's great. All right, let's get into some. We're not going to take a break because we forgot about him, and we'll put him on another show and fill the inventory that way. Go ahead.
To get off the Trump thing for a minute.
You're not on the Trump train, apparently.
No,
we know that.
Not right now.
That's all right,
if ever. The latest Gallup poll shows that President Biden's approval rating rose to 44% during the month of August. However, 43% of registered voters do approve of, this is overall, that was 44% just for August. 43% of registered voters approve of Biden's performance, and 55% disapprove of his performance. So it's going up. I think his last numbers were like 37 or 38%. So that's a pretty significant increase in a short period of time, 43%.
So let me tell you, kind of similar to what I said about Trump. The Democrats aren't dumb. They know what they got to do to move the needle. I've been saying this now probably since early January, when everyone was saying, oh man, this red wave, man, this thing is going to be it's going to be so huge. We're going to knock them out, drag them out. And I told conservatives then, listen up. Don't be overconfident. There's a lot of football to be played. Don't get overconfident and don't think you're going to win. Now, approval ratings going up for the president. Still in the dumps. You got Mitch McConnell saying, hey, the candidates aren't that great for Senate. Let me be clear. The quality of the candidates are...
The turtle?
Yeah,
Mitch McConnell.
Cocaine Mitch there. And then you have in the House of... you have Congress, and everyone's like, okay, fine. Well, we might lose the Senate. This is the evolution now. So it looks like Republicans are like, okay, we might lose the Senate. It's not a done deal, obviously, but we might lose it. The House, we're good. We're going to keep the House. And solid. We're solid. We're going to be good. Nancy's gone. Kevin, come on in. Let me tell you the problem with that is that we still haven't perfected, not even perfected. We haven't taken care of the problems electorally wise and making sure that our elections are done with integrity. We haven't taken care of that problem. Yeah, and maybe in Wisconsin and some of the Midwestern states, they're not doing the drop boxes and stuff. But let me tell you this. Congress has tons of seats. The Democrats aren't stupid. They know math. They might go ahead and give it up here, but they're really going to take it over here. I'm really concerned about no red wave the next day we wake up. I was right here on election night in 2020. I was talking about the death of the Democrat Party. I was already etching the tombstone. I was going to pay for it. I was already, R.I.P.
Bought the plot and everything.
I bought the plot. I bought sister plots for all of them. And, I got a good deal. Belmont Cemetery, by the way, great people over there. They're not an advertiser, but we shared a booth space. Great guys. A little dry. But anyhow,
probably have to be.
I was ready, and then we all went to sleep, and we woke up, and what happened? Conservatives, do not be overconfident. There might not be a red wave. I want there to be a red wave. They've done this to us before. All the indicators are heading into the direction where they are ready to take this, no matter what they got to do. So I'm really concerned.
Yeah.
The polls aren't. I don't give a lot of credibility to one poll, but when all the polls are saying the same thing, then you got a problem.
Well, and then you have to look at the credibility of said polls.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Depending on where they're coming from, how the questions are asked of the persons that they're interviewing, who they're polling, the way they're structured. So you have to take a lot of those things into consideration. Gallup, I think, is a pretty reputable poll, from what I know,
I only believe that
history.
I only believe I think it's called the GM Institute of Internal Polling. Have you heard of them?
No.
It's the Guillermo Moreno Institute. It's the Guillermo Moreno Institute of Internal Polling. That's the only one I trust, Bob.
Come on.
And let me tell you, right now, it's not looking good for Republicans. I'll just tell you that. And I know it's you know what I want? Let me tell you what I wanted to cover today because we have only 4 minutes. CARB. All right, this horrible resources board for the state of California is pretty much paving the way.
Air Resources Board.
Yeah, the California Air CARB, they call it.
Yeah.
CARB. I don't like carbs. I don't like carb either.
No.
But so here's the problem. And I want conservatives to freak out, and I want Democrats I want every Californian to freak out because this is right now. They're pretty smart about how they do this. They're doing it in increments. They start setting the stones right now to really just get you later. I want people to be upset, and I want the people to really be upset. I want those people that aren't Republicans and conservatives because that's when we're actually going to start moving the needle. I was listening to a Spanish radio this morning, and they had one of the number one Spanish morning jock talking about this. And when you have everyone talking about how ludicrous it is, we're on a good path. We're on a good path to some kind of common sense returning to everybody. Here's the thing. This has to be one of the most unconstitutional measures that a state can take. you're interfering with interstate commerce. Interstate commerce is, it's well settled law. So if this angers you, get angry, but just know this. They have to ask the feds for permission. And assuming that the feds give them permission, this thing is going to the Supremes. And right now, I like my odds at the Supreme Court. So I want everyone to just kind of realize it, talk about it, but know this. The Trump administration, thank God, unless they pack the court after November, has put some pretty good justices on there. I think that'll interpret con law the way it should be. And this is well-settled law. California can't say, hey, automakers, you make cars for everybody else, but in this state, you only send us EV vehicles. You can't affect interstate commerce. Then you have car dealerships affected. It really is. You can't do it's unconstitutional. Bob?
Yeah. Well,
that's my thought on that.
What we're talking about here in California is that there's a proposed new law to basically end the sale of gas and diesel-powered vehicles by 2035.
Yep.
And to go all electric at that point.
All electric.
And
because we have a good grid.
Yeah.
And we can handle all those cars plugging in.
There's so many problems with this. Even if you're just, average like me, thank you, Guillermo, you've got to look at this and say, what the heck is going on? These people have no clue. And if they have a clue, it's not a very big clue because we right now, just in charging stations, to do what they need to do, we have 80,000 charging stations in this state, which surprised me. I didn't think we had that many. They need 250,000 by 2025. 3 years. That ain't going to happen. As long as it takes this state to do anything, that's not going to happen.
They can't put down. Have they put down rail yet for the high-speed rail?
Yeah.
I see a bunch of concrete, but they actually put anything down?
Yeah. So there's a lack of infrastructure, access to materials needed to make the batteries for all these new vehicles.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't pan out.
It's total craziness. And I guess I should be surprised. Should we be surprised at what comes out of Sacramento?
No. Sacramento now, you just got to remember this. Sacramento hates businesses. They hate landlords. And now they hate cars.
Yeah.
If you just understand that, if you're not from California, you're a part of our national audience, and you look at what's going on over here, just remember that. They hate business. They hate landlords, and they hate the car. Bob, always a pleasure.
Thanks,
and as Alan says, do your best, let God do the rest.
Yeah, buddy.
Who cares about